Next, we come to specification 4, which asks us to explain how the development of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, including MRSA, can be minimized by using antibiotics only when necessary. Bacteria can sometimes develop resistance to antibiotics, meaning the drugs become less effective or even useless against them. This happens when bacteria are exposed to antibiotics unnecessarily or are not fully treated, allowing the strongest, resistant bacteria to survive and multiply. Antibiotics are medicines that either kill bacteria or prevent them from growing. However, over time, some bacteria have developed resistance to certain antibiotics. Resistant bacteria can survive even when exposed to these drugs, making infections caused by them more difficult to treat. In such cases, doctors may need to prescribe stronger or alternative antibiotics. These alternatives can be more expensive, may cause more side effects, and are not always guaranteed to work. Overall, the development of antibiotic resistance decreases the effectiveness of antibiotics in treating bacterial infections, highlighting the importance of using them responsibly. Talking about antibiotic resistance and misuse. Since 1928, numerous antibiotics have been developed to treat bacterial infections, helping to control diseases caused by harmful bacteria. Over time, however, some antibiotics have become less effective because many bacteria have adapted and developed resistance. Misuse of antibiotics contributes to this problem. Overuse or unnecessary prescriptions expose bacteria to antibiotics they do not need, allowing them to survive and develop resistance. Not completing the full course of antibiotics also lets some bacteria survive, making them stronger and more resistant. The use of antibiotics in farming can further encourage the development of resistant bacteria in healthy animals, which can then spread to humans. This widespread misuse has led to the emergence of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, often called superbugs, which are very difficult to treat. MRSA is a well-known superbug because it can survive exposure to many different antibiotics. Using antibiotics only when truly necessary helps to reduce the development of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, including MRSA, by limiting unnecessary exposure of bacteria to these drugs. Frequent or inappropriate use of antibiotics gives bacteria more opportunities to adapt, survive, and develop resistance. By restricting antibiotic use to cases where it is essential, fewer bacteria come into contact with the drug, which lowers the chances of resistant strains emerging or spreading. This careful use of antibiotics helps maintain their effectiveness for treating serious infections and slows the rise of dangerous superbugs such as MRSA. As you can see in the image, a normal gut bacterial population naturally includes a few bacteria that already carry antibiotic-resistant genes. When a person takes antibiotics, these drugs kill not only the disease-causing bacteria but also many of the harmless bacteria in the gut. This reduces competition among the bacteria. With fewer competitors left, the antibiotic-resistant bacteria are able to survive and reproduce much more rapidly. Over time, this leads to a larger population of resistant bacteria, which is much harder to treat. In other words, the image demonstrates how misuse or overuse of antibiotics can give resistant bacteria an advantage, allowing them to multiply and potentially cause infections that are difficult to manage. The key takeaway is that responsible use of antibiotics is essential to prevent the rise of these antibiotic-resistant, or superbug, populations. To prevent antibiotic resistance, it's important to use antibiotics only when they are truly necessary. This means taking them for confirmed bacterial infections and not for viral illnesses like colds or the flu. When we avoid unnecessary use, we reduce the chance for bacteria to evolve and become resistant, which helps antibiotics remain effective for longer. It's also essential to always complete the full course of antibiotics as prescribed. Even if you start feeling better, some bacteria may still be alive. Finishing the entire course ensures that all bacteria are killed, preventing the remaining ones from surviving, multiplying, and developing resistance. This careful approach is key to keeping antibiotics effective and controlling the spread of resistant bacteria. So that was everything about Unit 12.2, where we discussed the concept of antibiotics. The complete topical notes for this chapter are provided in the description below as well as in the pinned comment. I will be back shortly with the next topic, so stay connected, and thank you for watching.